Hey there, welcome to Yoga with Rachel, and also welcome to our full body yoga practice where we will stretch and strengthen the fascia. So in case you were wondering, what on earth is fascia? Where is it located? Why is it so important? Well, in case you have one or all of those burning questions, you can read all about it down below this video in the description box. So for this practice, please bring 2 yoga blocks or 2 thick books with you. These items will be very useful for one of the movements that we explore together. Also, bring your breath throughout this entire practice. Just allow the breath to flow through you, in and out as naturally as you can. And finally, come to this practice with an open mind. Be open to learn, be open to explore, be open to trying something new perhaps. When we come to our practices with an open mind, well, we can actually learn quite a bit about ourselves, the way that we move, and maybe you even learn a different way of transitioning into a posture. So that is my invitation to you. And feel free to pause the video if you would like to grab your items. And without further ado, let's get started. Join me at the top of your mat. Walk your feet so that way they are underneath your hips, and then find a soft bend in your knees. I invite you to imagine that you are just starting your day, and perhaps you are. So let's begin by taking a full body stretch. On your next breath, then send your hands to the sky. Spread each finger as you reach up and overhead. Lift your heart and maybe your chin slightly. Yawn if that feels awesome. Explore some organic movement, such as side body stretches, opening up through the side body. Perhaps your hands take hold of your elbows, so your right hand on your left elbow and your left hand on your right elbow, and then stretch it on out. Take a breath in through your nose, and then on your breath out, allow your hands to fall to your sides. Explore stillness for a moment. Notice how each foot connects with the surface. Observe how this foot-to-earth connection helps create stability throughout your entire body as you stand tall on your mat. Now allow your limbs, so your arms and legs, to relax. Turn your toes out slightly, root down through your feet, and your knees remain soft. I now invite you to find a gentle sway from side to side. You can keep this sway soft and slow. You can choose to speed it up a little. I invite you to listen to your body and respond. Now, I invite you to travel around your mat and continue the swaying motion. Notice how each foot connects with the ground as you move. Which part of your foot makes contact first? How does the ground feel beneath your feet? Eventually, we will meet at the top of the mat once again. Slow down your sway, and then explore stillness. observe how your physical body feels after this movement. Walk your feet under your hips with your toes facing towards the top edge of your mat. Interlace your fingers out in front and then reach your hands up and overhead, palms facing towards the sky. Take a breath in here and then breathe out to bring your hands forward, reaching your hands towards the front of your room, palms facing away from your body. Shoulder blades move from left to right as you round through your mid and upper back slightly. Breathe into your upper back and shoulder area, and then breathe out. Keep the bind with your hands as you bring your hands down and then in towards your body, drawing your hands closer towards your chest, palms facing down. Imagine that you are trying to pull your hands apart as your elbows move from left to right. Shoulder blades retract slightly. Breathe in here. Breathe out. All right, let's flow. Breathe in to reach your hands up and overhead. Breathe out, hands reach forward, create space through your back body. Take a breath in here. And then as you breathe out, bring your hands down and then towards your chest. Imagine that you are trying to pull your hands away from each other, creating resistance. Breathe in here. And then breathe out. Try one more round on your own time. On your next breath out, release the bind. Roll your shoulders forward, up, and then back a few times. Beautiful. Relax and release your hands to your sides. Step your right foot behind your left leg and to the left side. Your whole foot connects with the surface. Find a small bend in your left knee. Place your left hand on your hip, and then on your next breath in, reach your right hand to the sky. On your breath out, reach your right hand over towards the left side, bumping your hips to the right. Feel both feet pressing into the earth, both feet showing up as equally as possible. Now, find some baby pulses with your right hand, reaching a little more to the left side with each pulse. Feel the movement taking place in your right oblique area. Wonderful. Find stillness, release, and unravel. Let's explore the stretch on the other side. Step your left foot behind your right leg and to the right. Place your right hand on your right hip. As you breathe in, send your left hand high into the sky. Breathe out to reach over towards the right side. Once you feel steady in your base, I invite you to find some baby pulses. Keep your breath flowing as you do this action. Wonderful. Release a stretch and unravel. On your next breath in, reach both hands overhead. And then on your breath out, bend at your elbows. Your right hand takes hold of your left elbow, and your left hand takes hold of your right elbow. Stay grounded in your feet as you tilt your upper body towards the left, and then rotate at your torso so that we are looking down at the ground. Continue to fold forward, eventually coming into a standing forward fold with a bend in both knees. Your head and neck can grow heavy here. Continue the circle, moving towards the right side, and then eventually making your way back to our starting point, standing tall. So essentially, we are drawing slow circles with the upper body. I invite you to continue this movement. Move slow, as if you are moving through water. Maintain that foot to earth connection through the movement to stay grounded. Imagine that the soles of your feet are connected to the ground by way of roots, kind of like how a plant remains anchored in the soil. Finally, connect to your breath as you move. And feel free to reverse the direction of your circle at any point. All right, wherever you are, make your way back to our starting position and then release your hands to your sides. Take note of how you feel. Okay, step your right foot back, not too far back, as we want to be able to place the entire right foot on the ground. Look to see if your toes are pointing to the side or if they're pointing in. Let's do our very best to point the toes towards the top edge of the mat, and the same goes for your left toes. Your hips will be facing forward. Feel free to widen the stance with your feet if you feel like you are on a tightrope. Find a small bend in both of your knees as you press your feet down into the mat and then resist your feet away from each other. So your right foot feels like it's moving towards the back edge of your mat, but it's staying exactly where it is, and your left foot resists forward. Feel that engagement as you bring your hands to your heart. Keep this activation as you slowly begin to bend into your front leg. Your knee stacks over top of your ankle, not past the toes. So if you do feel like your knee is moving past your toes, you can widen the distance between your feet. As you are here, feel your feet pressing down and away from each other. Relax to straighten through the front leg. Twice more, just like that. So both feet pressing down into the mat and then away from each other. Once you have that, you can begin the movement. Start to bend into that front leg. Maintain length through your back body. Breathe in here. Breathe out to relax, coming out of the stretch. Once more on your own time. Wonderful. Relax to come out of the stretch. And let's give this a try one more time, but this time we will fold forward slightly, hinging at the left hip. So first, activate your feet and your legs, bending into your front knee, and now begin your fold. So your tailbone reaches back and the crown of your head reaches forward. Explore a gentle tuck of your chin. And let's hold the stretch for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax to come out of the stretch. Step your right foot up and then shake out your right leg and your foot. Step your left foot back. Both feet press firmly into the earth, toes pointing forward. Feet ground down and then push away from each other. Feel that engagement in your legs as you bring your hands to your heart space. Keep that engagement with your feet and legs as we begin to move, bending into the right leg, keeping your right knee stacked over top of your ankle. Hold this for a moment and keep your breath flowing. And now relax to come out of the stretch. At least 2 more rounds on your own time. Remember to keep the feet pressing down and away from each other before and during the movement. If you lose that engagement, back out of the movement and then come back to the starting position to re-engage those muscles. Wonderful. Let's do this movement one more time while folding forward halfway. Remember to keep a small bend in that back knee as you move. Let's hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax to come out of the stretch and then step your left foot up to meet your right foot. Give your left foot and leg a nice shake. And now take a moment to notice how your legs feel, as well as your glute muscles. For me, the stretch feels awesome for my calf muscles as they are usually quite tight. Step to the middle of your mat, so that way you're facing towards one of the longer edges of your mat. When you are there, send your arms from left to right, and then step your feet wide, so that way each foot is under a wrist point. Turn your toes out slightly, find a small bend in your knees, and then bring your hands to your hips. Press your feet down into the earth and then out and away from each other. So it's almost like you are trying to tear your yoga mat into 2 pieces with your feet. Notice what happens when you engage your feet in this way. What other muscles start to fire up? Take a breath in here, and then on your next breath out, keep that engagement with your feet and legs as you begin to bend at your knees. Draw your knees back in space so that way your knees stay stacked over your ankles. Find length through your back body. Your tailbone reaches down towards the ground as the crown of your head reaches towards the sky. Draw your elbows back slightly. I know that this is a lot of work, but you can do it. Keep your feet pressing down and feet resist away from each other as we find some baby pulses. So lifting and lowering slightly. We are here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Press down through your heels as you straighten through your legs. Relax your legs and feet as you begin to heel toe your feet closer together so that way they're under your hips. Great. Make your way to the top of your mat. As you breathe in, take up space, sending your hands high into the sky. On your breath out, fold forward, bend at your knees. Gently shake your head yes, and then no, to allow your head and neck to soften and relax in this fold. Wonderful. Plant your palms on the mat and then walk it back to a high plank. Slowly step your feet towards the back edge of your mat. Your wrists are stacked under your shoulders, palms pressed down firmly into the ground. Notice each fingerprint connect with your mat. Heels reach back. Your front body hugs on up to meet your back body. Take a breath in here. And then on your breath out, send your hips to the sky, finding a downward facing dog. Pedal out your feet, bending one knee at a time and releasing the opposite heel closer towards the earth at a time. Stretching out through the backs of the legs, and be mindful of how your palms connect with the ground. Maybe you would like to create a little bit more space So you walk your hands closer towards the longer edges of your mat. Feel each fingertip connect with the ground, your knuckles, the heel of your palm. Wonderful. Explore stillness. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. Slowly begin to step your feet closer towards the top of your mat, stepping one foot forward and then the other. Feel free to come up onto your fingertips as you move. We meet back in a standing forward fold. Bend at your knees as you walk your fingers towards the left side, feeling a lovely stretch through the right side of your body. And it's all good if your fingers are dangling above the earth. Take a breath in here. And then as you breathe out, come back through center before taking it over to the right side. Breathe in. Breathe out to make your way back to center. Plant your palms on the mat and then slowly walk your feet back to a high plank. When you get there, press away from your mat and rock a little forward and back. Breathe in. Breathe out to find your downward facing dog. Anchor through your left heel as you sweep your right foot to the sky. Be mindful of your hand to earth connection. Draw your belly button in towards your spine, engaging your core. Find some baby pulses with your right leg, so lifting your heel slightly, giving the glute a little squeeze, and then lowering slightly. We are going to keep these baby pulses going for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hug your right knee in towards your chest, shifting forward just like in plank. And then send your right leg back to the sky. Great. Hug your right knee in again before sending your right leg back to the sky, three-legged dog. And one more round on your own time. Wonderful. Lower your right foot to the ground. Anchor through your right heel before sending your left foot to the sky. Find some baby pulses here, so lifting and lowering slightly, keeping your core engaged. We are here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hug your left knee in towards your chest, shift forward, press out of your foundation before sending your left foot to the sky. At least 2 more rounds on your own time. Wonderful. Lower your left foot to the earth, and then lower your knees to the ground. Sit back towards your heels or find a cross-legged seat. You can rotate through your wrists. You can explore zombie arms. Perhaps you wish to find some movement with your shoulders, rolling them forward, up, and then back. Wonderful. Let's make our way to all fours. Place your wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hip points. Spread your fingers. Feel your shins and the tops of your feet root down into the earth. Rock your pelvis forward as you hug your belly button in towards your spine. Explore a chin tuck as you look down at your mat. Press your hands and feet down into the ground. Hands will press or resist forward when you do this. You may feel your knees resist towards the back edge of your mat. Keep this activation as you round through your spine. Cat stretch. On your next breath out, resist your hands back towards your knees, and your knees will resist forwards towards your hands. It's as if we are trying to bring the hands and the knees towards each other, but they are staying in one place. Drop your belly, lift your heart slightly, and then look towards the top edge of your mat. Your feet and shins may lift away from the ground. As you breathe in, press away and forward with your hands. Knees resist back, finding your cat stretch. Rock a little forward and back. As you breathe out, hands and knees resist towards one another, cow stretch. Rock a little forward and back. One more round of cat and cow on your own time. Wonderful. Let's do the exact same type of movement and activation, but with the hands to the left side. So your right hand will remain on the mat, and your left hand will be slightly off of your mat. Establish that connection to the earth, and then round through your spine. Breathe in here. Breathe out to explore your cow stretch. Breathe in. Breathe out to make your way to your cat stretch. Breathe in. Breathe out, cow stretch. And then breathe on in to find a neutral spine. Take your hands back through center and then to the right side. I invite you to do 2 rounds of cat and cow here. Activate your muscles for that yummy fascia stretch. Lovely. Find a neutral spine and then walk your hands back to center. Have your yoga blocks or your thick books nearby for our next stretch. Send your right foot towards the back of your room and then hug your right knee in towards your chest before stepping your right foot through and between your hands. Come up onto your fingertips and feel free to walk your left knee back in space. Place your yoga blocks or books on either side of your right foot on the highest height, and then place your hands on your items. Check to make sure that your right knee is stacked over your right ankle. Press your right foot down into the ground and then back, as if you are trying to drag your right foot towards the back edge of your mat. Naturally, your left knee begins to resist forward. Wonderful. Hold on to this connection as you begin to send your hips back, straightening through your right leg. And when I say straighten, there will still be a small bend in that knee. No worries about how far you go, as our focus is on maintaining that muscular contraction throughout the entire movement. Relax to come back to our starting position. Okay, at least 2 more rounds on your own time. A kind reminder to maintain that muscular activation as you move your hips back. And breathe, breathe, breathe. Wonderful. Relax out of the stretch. Plant your palms on your mat, and then step your right foot back to find a tabletop position. Kick your left leg back, and then hug your left knee in, and then step it forward. The blocks will now frame your left foot. You can walk your right knee back in space if you wish. Place your hands on your blocks or books, and then look forward, tucking your chin in slightly. Press your left foot down, and then back as your right knee resists forward. Once you have that connection established, slowly begin to send your hips back, and the front leg begins to straighten. Hold on to this activation and this stretch for a moment. And now relax, making your way out of the stretch. Try at least 2 more rounds on your own time. This is such a yummy stretch for your hamstrings. Wonderful. Relax, coming back to a lunge position. Plant both palms on the ground and then step it back to a tabletop position. Swing your legs off to one side and then make your way to a seat on your mat. Sit near the middle of your mat. Place the soles of your feet on the earth with your knees pointing upwards. Find length through your back body before beginning to lean back. Keep both feet on the ground. Breathe in to send your hands to the sky. Breathe out to twist your upper body to the right. Your arms go from left to right. Perhaps you lean back a little bit more to fire up your core muscles. Breathe in, hands to the sky as you face forward. Breathe out to twist to the left. Spread energy beyond your fingertips. Breathe in to come back to center. Do a few more rounds on your own time. Explore how far you can lean back while still maintaining length through your back body. And of course, connect to your breath as you move. All right, make your way back to center and then sit upright. Release your hands to the sides for the moment. Extend through your legs, point through your toes, and then reach your hands forward, palms facing up towards one another. We are going to lower onto our back body. So as you do this, I encourage you to bring your legs together, squeeze the legs and your feet together. Keep your core muscles tight, spread your fingers, and then lower down, nice and slow. Just playing around with this. If you descend a little bit quicker than what you expected, you can always try this movement again. And whenever you do arrive there, I invite you to take a full body stretch. Find any movement here that will feel awesome. Great. Take up space on your mat with your legs and your arms. You can allow your arms to rest alongside your body. Fingers are soft. I invite you to close your eyes. Take a moment to notice how you feel in this very moment. Take a moment to consider which postures or movements felt best in your body today. Which ones will you try off of your mat? Whatever we practice on the mat can most definitely be applied off of the mat. So this could be a movement, a stretch, a mantra, perhaps some breath work. So there's always an invitation to take what you learn on the mat and apply it off of the mat. Finally, thank yourself for showing up here today. Thank you so much for moving with me today and also for being a part of this community. I now invite you to bring your palms together, thumbs to your third eye. Breathe in. Breathe out. An invitation to close our practice by saying Namaste.